Sandy Kane here and Dee Dee Rice.
Hi.
We're here this evening to do the Community Opportunity Manager Training webinar. So tonight we have with us a bunch of different people. I think there's about 20 plus on the call right now. So thank you all for taking your evening to spend it with us to learn some things about becoming the Community Opportunity Manager.
Sandy's going to do most of the training, as this is her baby. She knows it like the back of her hand. The Opportunity Catalog, forward-facing and behind the scenes.
Hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions, and I will be able to do anything that you ask me to do. We just did get one question, Maureen. I can see your messages, so I think we're all set there. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. How do we move to that? There we go. All right, so the first thing we want to say is thank you. As I said, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for taking some time out of your evening to spend it with us to learn about the Community Opportunity Manager role, and thank you for volunteering for it. I do have some VSCs on the call this evening, so VSCs that are here, thank you for joining us so that you can learn about the role to either help find a Community Opportunity Manager for your community or help the Community Opportunity Manager that you have. So where are we now? Right now, we have lots and lots of things going on here at Council and across the country. Our customer engagement initiative that we started last March is live. It's here. We're just about our 6th month into it. Currently, we are just over 500 members ahead of where we were for registration last year at this time. So that's extremely good news. We have the largest recruitment effort of I said here of the season, but actually of the year. The largest recruitment effort of the year is happening now. Our recruitment team is out in force all over the place, both in New Hampshire and Vermont, taking care of doing open houses and also Discover Girl Scout events, which we'll talk a little bit about later. Our customer care team is working to handle most calls in a timely manner. Currently, our average return rate on calls is less than 6 hours, which is really, really, really good. Our goal is obviously to take care of all customer care calls as soon as possible, and sometimes we can, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But the customer care team, which does include a few new staff members, is doing a really good job so far. So we thank them. Our VSCs have started their role for the year. Dee Dee had her first VSC teleconference earlier this week or last week. And so they are going in full force and have started to get their reports and have started to ask lots and lots of questions. Our fall product sale, as you probably all know, is going on. And our Girl Expo, which is coming up October 8th in Bedford, New Hampshire, is getting prepared, and they're doing a heck of a lot of work to get everything going for that. And as you know, because you're here right now, our comms are being trained now. So our comms are being trained now, but what exactly does that mean? What is a comm? A comm is a community opportunity manager. You know how we like our acronyms around here. A comm is our connection to the service units when it has to do with ways that girls can participate. It also has to do with ways adults can volunteer. Right now, our participation in our council is mostly troops. So we're really concentrating on troops in what we're discussing tonight. Although we do have some series and some travel also showing in our opportunity catalog. This is not something that right now the comm needs to be concerned about. If you do have series or travel in your area, we're really going to be concentrating on the troop effort. A comm helps us have the connection to the local communities so that we have the most accurate and up-to-date data and information. Without a local person, as you all know, it's very hard for us to know what's going on in the community and to connect with all the leaders. So we're really hoping that our comms and all of our service units will be able to help us to do a better job of doing that. As a comm, you'll be receiving weekly reports that will help making a commitment. You'll be receiving weekly reports, and by getting these reports, we're hoping that the comms will make a commitment to review the information in a timely manner. You'll also be working with the leaders in your service unit to ensure that the information listed in the opportunity catalog is correct. Communicating updates through our customer care team to our member placement specialists that work with your community. And also you'll be working with our recruitment team in your area, being aware of recruitment opportunities in your service unit, share possible troop openings with us, know the needs of your area so that you can tell us what you need. Currently, I mentioned just briefly earlier, our recruitment team is out in force doing mostly open houses and also Discover Girl Scout events, another acronym that you'll hear, a DGS. Are we recording? Sorry, I'm sorry, the DGS. So if you haven't seen a DGS yet, or you haven't heard about a DGS yet, I just want to take a couple seconds so I can share with you what it is. A Discover Girl Scout meeting or a Discover Girl Scout event is a recruitment event that gets put on by our recruitment team with help from volunteers. And basically, it's about an hour-long meeting that mimics an actual troop meeting. When girls and parents come to the event, the girls are taken to one side of the room, let's say, and they go through an actual meeting. They go through an opening, a closing, they do an activity, they sing some songs, they do everything that a girl would do at a typical Girl Scout meeting. It is built for multi-level, so it doesn't matter which age group comes. It could be Daisy, Brownie, Junior, or even older girls. The girls that come the event is basically tailored to the girls who come. On the other side of the room would be our staff member who would be, or in some cases a volunteer, who would be working with the adults to explain to the adults what we need from them, whether it's being a troop leader, being a helper, how their girls can participate in Girl Scouts, and how they can help us. It's really an event that's set up so that we can recruit not only girls into troops, but we can also recruit volunteers and helpers and chaperones and leaders, etc., etc. So what we're asking our comms to do is be a part of this. It might mean that we might need somebody to come and help with the event. It might mean that we just need somebody to help our recruitment team to be able to talk to maybe somebody in a school or somebody in a local town hall. It might be that we want you to set up some flyers around your community. There's lots of different ways that we're hoping that the comm would be able to help. It would be based on your schedule and based on what you can do, but it's definitely a connection that we're looking for.
We're also asking that they are sharing those needs by watching the reports that we're sending to you, that you can monitor and see if there's leaderless troops. There's girls in there but no leaders, that you can communicate that with, if you have a recruiter on your team, communicating that with them or back to us so that we can see if we can't make some effort in there.
It's really kind of the eyes in the sky, except it's going to be the eyes in the service unit to help let us know what's going on in the area. So we talk a lot, you've heard a lot about the Opportunity Catalog. The Opportunity Catalog is really the meat of what the Community Opportunity Manager is going to be dealing with. Since you, as the comm, will have a large part in making sure that the Opportunity Catalog information is correct, why don't we take a look at the actual catalog? So when a girl or an adult decides to join Girl Scouts, this is our landing page of our website. If you haven't seen it, there's one thing I want to digress for a second. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, there is a, we have our arrow on it. There's a My GS tab. The My GS tab is going to be used by all volunteers so that they can log into their member community and also log into their volunteer toolkit. So I just wanted to digress for just a second and let you know that's where that tab is in case you haven't had a chance to see it yet. But when an adult or a girl decides to join, they're going to start at our website. Again, this is the landing page of our website, and you can see at the bottom we have both the Join Now tab or button and we have the Volunteer Today button. Very similar to how it used to work in our old system. A Volunteer Today would be where the adult would go, and a Join Now would be where the parent or girl would go. The next page of their registration process, where it says Girl Registration, you've probably heard us say a couple different things over the last couple months. Sometimes we say, go to our website, hit Join Now and to go see our Opportunity Catalog. Some people are saying, go to our website, hit Join Now to get started. Some people are saying both, and some people are just saying, go to our website and hit Join Now. That's why I wanted to take a second and show you what actually happens when they get to that first page. This first page is the girl registration, as you can see at the top, girl registration form. However, it's just the first page of the registration process. A lot of people are coming and saying, well, I don't want to register. I just want to see if there's troops available, or I just want to look, and are getting a little bit scared of this. So in your communities, whether you're a VSC or a community opportunity manager, just let people know this is almost like an interest indicator form, using an old term, but that's kind of what this first page is. It's a getting started page. It asks for a brief amount of information, as you can see by the starred items, which is everything except one, but it's basically giving us the girl's name, their zip code, their grade, and their parents' name, and then their email and phone. So it's not anything, they're not making a commitment when they come to this page. They're really just kind of giving us the same things that they would give us in the past, as far as I'm interested, tell me more, or I'm interested, let's get going on this. So this is the first page that they'll come to when they are starting to look for the opportunity catalog. Once they fill this all out, they're going to go ahead and hit continue, and they actually do land on the beginning of the opportunity catalog. What they will see is at the top where it says get started, get involved, and join. Those are the 3 steps that we go through as a girl. There are ways to participate, and you can read basically what it says, but what are you interested in? At Girl Scouts, the possibilities to have fun and do big things are endless. Search opportunities for fun by age and location, or enter a specific troop or group number below. If you have questions or need more information, click on the title of the opportunity you'd like to know more about. For more accurate search results, please enter a zip code. Our new system really runs everything off of a zip code. This has been a big adjustment for us here at Council. We're very used to handling things in districts and service units, and everything goes by zip codes. And a lot of communities, a lot of service units have multiple zip codes in them. So this has kind of been a learning process for all of us, but we're learning and it's going. A lot of reports that you'll get, you will see the zip code on there because of this. So what a girl is, or what a parent is going to do at this point is, if they know the troop that they want to join, they can go ahead under pick a specific troop or group and type that troop number in. When they type that troop number in, they would then hit search. The other option would be to, if they don't know their troop number that they're interested in being in, which most new girls do not, they would go ahead and put their zip code in. They could choose a search by radius. 0 would obviously be only in that zip code. The other options, I believe, are 5, 10, 15, and 20-mile radius. If you have a community or service unit where 20 miles, it needs to be bigger than 20 miles, which we do in some of our areas, we're asking that they contact customer care, and customer care can assist them to find something more than 20 miles away from their zip code. The grade as of fall of 2016, so as of right now, they're going to go ahead and put the grade that they're participating in right now. As you know, throughout the year, as we head into next spring, or if we head into next early reg period, the grade becomes very important because it'll determine where they're going to be placed. So right now we don't have to worry about that. So grade as of the fall of 2016. This then takes them to the opportunity catalog. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, I entered the zip code 03087. I did a 0 radius mile search, so I'm really only looking in that zip code. And the grade that I'm looking at for the fall of 2016, this is an old slide, I didn't actually change the date, so this would say 2016, is 6th grade. So as I clicked the search button, this is what came up for me. This is a very typical response to a girl's inquiry. It's searching by zip code to tell us any offerings that we have out there right now for a girl in 6th grade. As you can see, we have 6 different options for a girl. The first one being a troop, and this one happens to be titled Troop 10080. It serves both 5th grade and 6th grade. The location is serving the area in and around Windham, New Hampshire. We are using the wording serving the area in and around in the situations, and there's 2 situations. In one situation, if we're meeting at a leader's house, this is the wording that we tend to use. A lot of people don't want to put their address in there, so we have this option. If you look down for, another option if you're meeting in a private house or in your house is to write private home, Wyndham, New Hampshire, or whatever town. But this is how we're doing that. The other time that you'll see serving the area in and around a town is when we actually haven't decided on a meeting place yet. There's a lot of, sometimes people don't know where they're going to be meeting, or they haven't gotten the approval from the school yet, or they haven't confirmed where they're meeting. And so what they're going to do is put this in, serving the area in and around Smith Elementary School, or serving the area in Londonderry, New Hampshire, or something like that, so that you can tell the girls where you are without actually giving them a specific meeting place if you don't have it yet. As you can see from the second and third options on this list, in this particular case, these two troops meet at the Wyndham Senior Center, so that is an actual location. The days that you meet, the first troop meets monthly on Fridays, the second troop meets bi-weekly on Wednesdays, another monthly on Friday, and a bi-weekly on Friday troop. This could be, you guys know, any options, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, occasionally. There's a couple different options that you can put there. We want to be as specific as we can, because now girls and parents are looking at this to see which troop fits them, which troop fits their schedules, and which troop fits their needs. So if I have a daughter that I'm looking for, that maybe this is who I'm searching for, and I know that my daughter has dance on Wednesdays, and I don't want her to be overscheduled on Wednesdays, I would probably stay away from that Wednesday opportunity. I would probably pick maybe one of the two monthly Friday events, or maybe the bi-weekly if I wanted to have a meeting more often. The next listing is openings remaining. These troops have openings. The first one has 2, the second 5, and the bottom 2 have 4. So these troops are all welcoming new girls, and this is how many spots are available to them. If a troop does not have openings available, the troop will still show on the catalog, but it will show with 0 openings.
Now this is something new.
This is something new. We'll talk about it a little bit further down the road, but it will still show on the catalog, and it will show 0 openings. A person will not be able to register into a troop that shows 0 openings. The troop group number right now mimics the title. And I say right now because this is one of the circumstances where that series or travel might come in. Let's use one of our series, for example, called Swiftwater Paddlers. If somebody was searching for a Swiftwater Paddler series, their title would be Swiftwater Paddlers, but they would still have a troop number or a group number in that case. The troop group number in Swiftwater Paddlers situation would be used for their eNutty and eBuddy sales, but they would be known by a title as opposed to a troop number. So when you as a comm are looking right now at the opportunity catalog, you're going to find that the title and the troop group number do mimic each other. And in this particular situation, in the example that we've chosen, in all 4 of these troops, there are 0 volunteers needed. What that means is they have 2 leaders at least for their troops. Okay. In all of our opportunity catalogs for the girls, volunteers needed only refers to direct primaries, and a direct primary is what our system calls troop leaders. So if you have a helper or a chaperone or some other volunteer role in your troop, that will not populate the volunteers needed area of the girl opportunity catalog. Okay, and I mentioned when I started this slide that there's actually 6 opportunities for the girls. And I say that because not only do 4 troops show for this 6th grader, but there are 2 other options which are listed at the bottom. The first one, unsure, and the second, an individually registered member. What this means is for unsure, exactly what it sounds like. If a person comes onto the opportunity catalog, they put their search criteria in, and nothing shows for them, or they don't really like any of these opportunities, or they're not seeing what they thought they were going to see, or they're not sure. They maybe would take either one of these monthly Friday troops. They can go ahead and choose unsure as their opportunity, quote unquote. A box will pop up that says, why are you unsure? And that is a free text box. They can type in there whatever they would like. So what's happening now is we have girls that are choosing unsure, and they're saying, I'm trying to get into troop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not showing on this catalog. Or I'm not seeing something available on Mondays. Do you have something available? Those are the kind of things we're seeing now. Over the summer, we would have girls that would say, I'm trying to register for camp, but I don't see a camp opportunity here. Unsure can really be used for any time that somebody wants to get more information or they really don't know what to do. When somebody chooses unsure, and I think this is what Dee Dee's typing right now, but that's okay. When somebody chooses unsure, our member placement specialist that represents your area contacts them to get more information, to help them find an opportunity, to ask them if they would like to volunteer, or to possibly set up an opportunity for them. So the unsure category, Dee Dee was typing and I just answered her question. But so the unsure category is something that people are using. It's very active, and our member placement specialists contact them within the day of when they register if they chose the unsure category. The individually registered member, that's a little bit different than unsure, in the sense where an individually registered member is a girl that wants to register for Girl Scouts but doesn't necessarily want to participate in a troop. Some of you may have remembered that we used to have Juliets. Some of you may remember that we used to have pathways. We still have pathways. Pathways have not gone away. We still have camp, virtual, travel, series, event, and troop. If a girl wants to register for anything except troop, we suggest that they select the individually registered member category. When somebody is an individually registered member, we do connect with them to ensure that they really do want to be an individually registered member. Again, our member placement specialists reach out to them after their registration to ensure that that's really what they wanted to do and that they don't want a troop category. If they really do want that individually registered member title, then the membership placement specialist will code them a certain way, and the other pathways will have access to those girls so that they can help them sell fall product, they can invite them to events, they can share information about camp or travel or series, etc., etc. Okay, so this is what the girl catalog looks like. When you click on the title, the explanation or the description of the troop or this event or the series will come up. So in this particular situation, I'm showing you what the troop description is for the first troop on our list, troop 10080. This is one of our generic descriptions. General descriptions. When we set this up to migrate, to start our new system back in March, we basically put together descriptions for each level, Daisy level, Brownie level, multi-level, cadet level, etc. And we set up all of the descriptions based on the grade level that they were serving at the time we migrated, which was back in March. The description is something that the comms are going to be need to be very aware of. There's a couple different reasons why. We'll talk about it throughout this webinar. But one of the reasons why a comm wants to pay attention to this is because this is not something that updated automatically when grades changed. In this particular situation, this is a troop that's right now serving 5th and 6th grade, and the troop leader has decided to identify themselves as a cadet troop. So this is a wonderful description for her to have. You're going to notice when you get your reports, you're going to notice that in some situations, the troop is listed and the grade is listed as serving, let's say, 2nd and 3rd graders, but it still has a Daisy description because the Brownie description has not yet been changed. That's something that as a comm we're going to have you be looking at to let us know where we need to change descriptions. Okay. As I said, this is a generic general description. This is what is filled out in most of our troops. However, we did have about 700 troops at one point fill out our spring survey. And during our spring survey, one of the opportunities that they had was to change their description. And at that point, they could customize their description if they wanted to. So we do have, you'll notice when you see your reports, we do have a few places where the leader did customize their descriptions. And so if that is the situation, you'll be able to read what they have as their description. This is an example of a customized description. This is something that a leader gave to us and we approved it. We always have to approve it just to make sure there's proper wording, et cetera, et cetera. But this is something that a leader gave us, and this is their description in their catalog. It really is something that you want to encourage the leaders to customize. If you have a troop, if one of your leaders has a troop that is very camping orientated, you want to make sure that they have that in their description. It's great for a parent to be able to look at a description and say, oh, this troop would be fabulous. My daughter loves to go camping. Or on the opposite side, oh, my daughter hates to go camping. She wouldn't really enjoy this troop. That's just an example, but you can see where I'm going with it. If your troop loves to do community service or really doesn't do badges, but instead focuses on community service, or is in their second year of going after their bronze or their journey and they're finishing that up so that they can earn their bronze award, or a lot of older girl troops put in their descriptions that they don't have a set meeting schedule, but they allow the girls to decide when their next meeting will be based on their schedules. That happens a lot as the girls get into the senior and ambassador ages. This is the opportunity for a leader to share with those that might be choosing her troop as much information as they can give them to make perfect fits.
Very important.
Very important, you all know that. So as a comm, again, we encourage you to have the leaders look at their descriptions, customize them as much as they want to, or they can leave the generic description in there. But again, we want to make sure it's also the correct description for the grade that they're serving right now. So lots of questions, I'm sure, about the girl catalog, but let's start with a few that we know will come up. So how is the leader able to see their listing? How is a leader able to update or change their listing? How is a leader able to change the number of girls that they desire? How is a leader able to change their meeting day, time, or location? This is where you, the community opportunity manager, are going to come in. You are the go-to person for updates and information. Weekly reports are going to come to you. This is going to allow you to see the opportunity catalog and be able to figure out what's in our database. This is not something that a leader can see. So to answer that first question, a leader cannot see their listing. This is not an ideal situation. We understand that. There is an enhancement request in so that leaders will be able to see what their listing is, but right now that is not a possibility. And that is why we have compositions. That is why we run a certain report for you that will show you so that you can show the leaders what is showing in their description. Okay? Over the last few months, we've had lots and lots of people going in and creating either duplicate accounts or fake accounts so that they can see what's on the opportunity catalog. Please encourage your leaders not to do this. I can't tell you how this messes up our system. It is really something that we encourage them not to do. Now, having a community opportunity manager in the community, they'll be able to see the description. You will get it once a week. You can get it more if you need it. We can certainly share with a leader what they have if they contact customer care, but we really want those leaders to go through you to see what's in their description. How does a leader update or change their listing? A leader can communicate the updates to you, and in turn, you will share them with us. A leader is able to change certain things on their troop. They can change the number of girls desired. They can change their meeting location, day, or time. They do that by logging into the website under the My GS tab and updating them themselves. However, these changes will need to go through an approval process and will not happen automatically. The desired number of girls will always be approved based on our council troop expectations. So if a troop leader does decide to, let's say they want to put 5 girls in there as their desired number, doesn't matter what level we are, 5 is below any of our expectations. And so we would have a troop support person connect with them so that they were able to discuss why they want 5 girls. In some situations, lower than expectations is approved. It just needs to be for a valid reason and not just because all the girls have been together since kindergarten and they don't want anybody else to join their troop. Troop descriptions always have to be submitted and cannot be updated by accessing the MyGS tab. When a leader accesses their troop, they basically go onto the website, onto the MyGS tab that I mentioned at the very beginning. They log in. When they log into the MyGS tab, there's two choices. There's actually three choices. One is Home, which will take them back to the beginning of the website. The other is Member Profile, and the third is Volunteer Toolkit. When a member goes into the MyGS tab, if they're choosing to go into their volunteer toolkit, obviously they would choose that one and head in that direction. But in order to look at their troop listing, to look at their roster, to update any information, and to look at their membership information, they're going to go ahead and choose Member Profile. When they log in, this is a side-by-side screen. This is all really one long screen. But when they log in, they will see this screen. They will scroll all the way down to the bottom. So if you look at the bottom right-hand side right now, where it says View, Edit, Troop Information, a little green there where Dee Dee's hovering the mouse over right now, that is where they would click in order to change their information. This is the screen that comes up for them to do that. Again, they can change their meeting days, they can change their frequency, their meeting start and end time, their program level, which in some cases may be incorrect right now. And that is because levels didn't change when grades automatically did in August. So there may be some grade levels that are incorrect the first few times you get your comm reports. Again, they can change their desired number of girls. And they can change then their meeting location, street address, city, state, and zip code. Very important that they put their zip code in because, as we said, everything searches off zip code. We do have troop leaders that change this often. They may be meeting at the senior center for the first 4 meetings, and then a month from now they're going to be meeting in a private home, and then 2 months from now they're going to be meeting in, at the town hall, something like that. This can be changed as much as you need it to be changed. You always want the leaders to have the most up-to-date meeting information because, again, think of what a parent does and a girl does when they join. They're going to look at the opportunities and choose based on what fits their needs. If they see a meeting that's starting monthly at 6 p.m. on a Sunday, they're going to want that meeting to be Monday at 6 p.m. on a Sunday. If they register and then find out, oh, that meeting's actually on 3 o'clock on Mondays, we just never changed or updated our information, you can see where that could cause a problem. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that meeting information is updated as much as possible. The Girl Catalog lists the openings for girls in troops. That's what we just spoke about. If you have questions about that, certainly let us know. But basically, the Girl Catalog is for girls. We have to understand that there's a Girl Catalog and there's also an Adult Catalog. For the member, they don't know a difference. When they go in, they either join now or they volunteer now. They don't know that they're looking at a Girl Catalog or an Adult Catalog. That is something that we know, and you as the community opportunity managers will manage and understand. The Adult Catalog lists the openings for adults to choose volunteer roles within a troop. All troops must have 2 approved and trained adults in the troop leader position. Troop leader primary contact, I'll discuss, but troop leader primary contact basically means I'm the person in the troop that if there's mailings that the council wants to send, who do we send the early reg patches to, if we have specific questions about the troop, who would we contact? If you have 4 leaders in a troop, we'll email all 4 of you. And sometimes there's one particular one that really is that primary contact person. So currently for renewing troops, we don't have the primary contact position listed. However, when our troop support team contacts you this fall for their first check-in call, they will be discussing with you the options of choosing a troop leader primary contact. All that means is we would take the troop leader that you would want to identify as the primary contact and put her or him into that role. So 2 trained adults, 1 a primary contact and 1 a troop leader, or 2 troop leaders. You certainly can have more. You can have as many as you want, but we require those 2 in order to start. These again are called direct primaries. That is something that you'll see on some reports. You'll see the DP. It'll say DPs, desired, or DPs, all over the place. And that's what they're talking about. Direct primaries are girls that work directly with the girls in a one-on-one situation. They're the troop leaders, as you all know, are responsible for the overall safety of the girls and the overall management of the troop. No different than it's been forever. Just called something a little bit different in our computer system. We still call them troop leader or troop leader primary contact. We don't have O1s and O2s. They're not identified by that anymore.
Can't hear you now. Get closer.
Get closer. Can everybody hear me? Or is it just one person? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Maureen.
Troop leaders may desire additional assistance, and additional assistance in what the Opportunity Adult Catalog is best for. Right now, we have set up some troop assistance roles as a troop driver, a troop chaperone, a troop helper, a troop treasurer, and a troop product manager.
I feel like we're playing password.
I know, and you should hear how many times a day I mess up saying all those. I wind up mixing them all up and putting them all into one. However, a troop driver, a troop chaperone, and a troop helper really are all the same thing if they want to be. You don't have to register as all three. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. What we're trying to do is we're trying to open up opportunities for adults to help in the way that best fits their needs. So if I'm an adult that's new to Girl Scouts and doesn't really understand what this is, but I see a troop driver position available, oh, I can drive girls around. That would be great. I'll go ahead and choose that role. As opposed to, well, I can't really be a troop helper because I work every day until 5 o'clock and this meeting's going to be at 3 o'clock, so I'm not going to choose that role. Some people want troop treasurers, some people need troop product managers. It depends on what the troop leader is wanting and what the troop leaders are needing in their troop. Okay? The adult catalog helps the community opportunity manager to help the leaders to be able to manage their information. So let's take a look at the adult catalog. If you notice on the top of the adult catalog where my green arrow is, there's more steps to becoming an adult than there used to be. No, not that there used to be, than a girl has. There are actually less steps involved in becoming an adult volunteer than there used to be now. This volunteer catalog, opportunity adult catalog, whatever you're going to call it, it's the adult roles. You have to remember that. In here, it looks very similar to the girl catalog. What they're going to do is they're going to put in their zip code, or they're going to put in the specific troop. If I'm a troop helper, and I know that I'm going to join Susie Smith's troop because I just talked to her and she said, hey, I need helpers in my troop. Why don't you come join my troop? I'm going to go ahead and put troop number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever the troop is that I'm hoping to join. If I put in a specific troop number, it will only search for that troop. If for some reason that troop number is incorrect, or that troop number is not displaying, or there aren't roles available in that troop, nothing will come up. We do suggest that you use the zip code function, not in conjunction with, but instead of the troop group, unless you really do know that that position is available. Put in your zip code the same way a girl would, and again, search radius. When you are in the adult catalog, this is a snapshot of what it looks like, okay? The snapshot, unfortunately right now, does not have a search criteria for adults, as it does with the girls. The girls, you search by grade. But for the adults, there is not a search criteria right now. Again, that is an enhancement that they're working on, and they hope to have it up before the end of this year. I don't know if that's really going to happen, but they're hoping for it. In the situation that an adult comes into now, what we're suggesting is they start to scan by grade. So if my daughter's in a 3rd grade troop and I'm looking for opportunities in a 3rd grade troop, I'm going to go ahead and search by grade, or not search, but scan by grade. And if I use that as an example, you can see that I have 4 options according to the beginning of this opportunity catalog. You'll be able to see that when an adult puts something in by a zip code, depending on how large the service unit is, there can be pages and pages of opportunities. because each troop would be listed and each troop would have all of their opportunities available. So it is a good idea to go ahead and search by grade by viewing it as you go up and down the screens. Again, I'm going to look to be a third grade adult helper of some sort, and as my screenshot here shows, I have a few different options. I have the troop leader position available for a third grade troop that meets at St. James's Church bi-weekly on Mondays, and there's one opening remaining and one volunteer needed. That is a redundant column, as Dee Dee and I spoke about earlier. Right now, the remaining openings in the volunteer needed column are going to be the same. I'm not exactly sure why they're like that, but they are. And this is in troop number, blah, 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 blah. So whatever the troop number listed will have that, whatever that troop number is called, or with the series, etc., would be listed that way. There's also an option of being the troop leader primary contact in a second and third grade troop, which is serving the area of Merrimack, New Hampshire, bi-weekly on Wednesdays. This meets at 6 p.m. And again, they're also looking for one person in that position. I have another troop right below that also could fill my needs if I'm interested in a Thursday after school position at 3:15. And I also have the opportunity of a troop helper chaperone driver role at the Thorntons Ferry Elementary School on every other Thursday at 6:30. So as a leader, as an adult, I could go in and choose which opportunity really fits my needs. Somebody asked me earlier today, is it working? Are people really just going in and choosing leader roles or choosing volunteer roles? Yes, it's working. It's working in a way that I actually am amazed by. We've had, I can't even decide what to say, because I don't know if I'm surprised or flabbergasted at it, but we really do have a very, very large amount of new adults coming in and choosing their opportunity based on what they're seeing on the opportunity catalog. We still have it the other way too, where they're looking for a particular role because a leader told that the leader told them that try my troop or look for my troop. So we still have it happening that way too, but we do have a lot of people going through and choosing opportunities this way.
We have a question from Nicole. How do leaders update the openings remaining for their troops?
So that would be back a couple of slides that we showed. When the leader goes into the My GS tab, they go ahead and select member profile, and they would update their information at the bottom of the screen where it says, I don't remember exactly what it says, but when it says to update their troop and group information, the number of girls is in the same place where they would update their meeting day, time, and location.
Is that also the same for the adults?
No. So for the adults, that's where the community opportunity manager comes in. Oh, I see. The community opportunity manager will be the one that really manages the adult catalog, in the sense you're going to get the report of what's listed in each troop. You're going to share that with the leaders, and the leaders will be able to tell you what they want showing, not showing, the amounts that they want in their troop, etc. And then you would be the communication back for what they need and what they want.
Okay, Maureen is giving some feedback. She's personally asked all her parents to register as members, choose a volunteer role, and whether as a chaperone or a driver or a helper, and she's had a huge positive response from her parents.
Great.
Thank you, Maureen.
Awesome, Maureen. So this is what the adult opportunity catalog looks like. We're going to take a side step for just a second. I know we have a bunch of VSCs on our call, and this is probably going to be very familiar to them, but we're going to just quickly review what actually happens to an adult when they're coming in through the quote-unquote intake process. Okay. Again, this is not going to be the community opportunity manager's main responsibility. This is really what the volunteer support coordinator will be doing, but I did want you all to be aware of what happens so that you can assist the volunteer support coordinator, or in some situations you may need to answer questions. So what happens is the adult goes into the website, they click Volunteer Now, they choose their role from the catalog that we just looked at, and they complete their registration by completing their payment. At that point, they get an automatic email saying you're officially a volunteer. This is a national program. This is a national platform. There are a few emails, auto emails that go out that sometimes don't have the exact wording that we would really like them to have. With the auto emails, we do not have any wiggle room right now. The auto emails are built by GSUSA, and they're built to satisfy all 112 councils. Each council, a lot of the councils do things the same way, but there are certain councils, like us, for example, who have certain rules and laws. New Hampshire State requires a certain kind of background check for us that doesn't allow us to use the normal way of intaking a volunteer. And so when the leader gets, or the volunteer gets this auto email saying that they're officially a volunteer, it's confusing some of them because it's saying, hey, you're officially a volunteer, you rock. I think that's what the title of it says. And some of the volunteers are thinking that they're all set. What we are doing internally here is we're contacting all new volunteers. It's part of the process that we do as we go through this. And at that point, we're letting them know, yes, you're a volunteer. You've chosen the role of whatever their role is, but we still need some other additional paperwork or other additional things in order for you to be approved. So it's not ideal, I understand that, but that's something that right now we are dealing with. The computer system will look and see, is this an adult that is currently a volunteer or are they a new volunteer? And based on that, it'll say, have they done the national background check before? If they've done the national background check before and the national background check has not expired, it will go ahead and move them to the next step. If they have an expired national background check, or if they've never done the national background check before, the Assurant vendor that we use, the vendor's called Assurant, will go ahead and send them an automatic email that tells them that they need to do this national form. The national form works in 49 states, all states except New Hampshire. So for our Vermont volunteers, this process, they go ahead and they go through this background check, and then they do not have any other background check steps that they have to go through. But if you have lived or worked in New Hampshire anytime in the last 7 years or currently, you then have to move on to the paper notarized New Hampshire state form. So, national background check through Assurant, automatic email, and then internally we take over. Our member placement specialist that represents your area contacts all new members and helps them to ensure that the role they chose was the role that they really want. It also answers any questions that they might have and lets them know of the next steps that are coming up. If they're a current volunteer, we don't make a second call to them. We know that they're a current volunteer. We just go ahead and move them on to the next step. It's something that happens internally. A volunteer wouldn't really know that.
Moving them on to the next step, you mean through the computer?
Yes, through our computer, exactly. They're called stages. You'll hear that word thrown around every once in a while. Number 2 is called the background check stage. Number 3 is called the beginning of what we call special handling. And special handling means just that. It's being handled specially from our council. We're putting our fingers on it. That's the best way to describe it. We do blind copy the volunteer support coordinator on any new volunteers that are coming through this process. The new volunteer is told that they need to complete the New Hampshire state form if that's necessary, or if they're in in New Hampshire, they're told about the New Hampshire state form and GS 101. In Vermont, they're just told about GS 101. They go ahead and take care of that information. When they go ahead and take care of that information, they're then approved as a volunteer. Our intake department sends them an approval letter, and that approval letter will be copied to the volunteer support coordinator also. After these stages, the volunteer is moved into a welcome. The welcome video is mandatory for all volunteers. Every volunteer, whether they've been a volunteer for a minute or 10 years, it doesn't matter. This new system has just started, and with that new system, everybody will have to go through the welcome video. It's 2.5 minutes long, and it has 5 questions. those 5 questions after you watch the video. You can go ahead and answer those questions, hit submit, and it will go ahead and move you past the welcome stage. Let's put it that way. We recently had a situation where a volunteer sport coordinator was working with us, and we're trying to figure out what the ramifications of not doing the welcome video are. And there really aren't any ramifications. There's no consequences for not doing the video. However, as Dee Dee put it the other day, which I enjoyed, it's a pesky little thing that's never going to go away. So if you don't do the welcome video, it's always going to be, always going to be sitting on your landing screen whenever you log into your profile, whenever you log into your VTK. It's just always going to be there. And next year when you go to renew, it's going to ask you to do it again. If you do it this year, you won't ever have to do it again. So it's just kind of one of these checks and balances that letting us know what that people are doing this. I see it as in the future, and this is not to say exactly, this is not happening, this is something I feel, but I feel what's going to happen in the future is that welcome video is going to be changed to something with a little bit more meat in it for new volunteers, but currently GSUSA just has a very brief video on there that just kind of says, hey, hi, we're here. So the opportunity catalog, this just a kind of a review. The opportunity catalog lists the options for girls in an identified zip code radius. It allows the parents to choose a troop that best fits their needs. It allows leaders to customize their troop description to best describe their troop. And it also allows adults to choose a way to volunteer that best fits their needs. So that's just a review of what the opportunity catalog actually does. So as a comm, how do you get this done? That's kind of the big question. You get this done by working with your leaders. You get this done by working with your service team, as well as the weekly reports that you get, as well as working with our customer care team and with the member placement specialist that's assigned to your area. The Community Opportunity Manager right now receives 3 reports each week. The Girl Opportunity Catalog Report, the Adult Opportunity Catalog Report, and the Membership and Troop Roster Report. This is a snapshot. When you get your actual reports, they're going to look slightly different. We snipped it, I guess that's what it's called. We snipped it a little bit and we expanded it a little bit so that you can actually see it on the screen. But this is a snapshot of what the Girl Opportunity Catalog Report looks like. This is the information that it has. You get this report each week, and this is something that you would do a column by column check with the leaders. That's the best way to do your job. Just check with the leaders and see what they want and what they have, and let us know if there's changes. I do have one person that's working with me now that she basically takes this report and she cuts and pastes. For example, if this was her report, she cuts and pastes troop 10006 and she emails it to the leader and says, this is what it says, is this accurate? And then the leader emails her back saying yes or no. That works for her. You can do it however you want to, whether it's emailing them, calling them, taking this report to your community meetings, whatever works best for you. How you do it is up to you. But what you're doing is you're checking. Is the program level right? The 4th column starts the program grade level. Excuse me. The number before the level doesn't mean anything to us. It means something in our system, but it doesn't mean anything to the leaders. So where it says 2 Brownie, that doesn't mean it's a 2nd grade Brownie troop. That just is a code that we use internally. So Brownie, Cadet, Ambassador, Junior. Is that level correct? Yes? Okay, move on to the next one. Is the grade correct? Is this the grade that they're serving? And we want to know exact grades that they're serving. You can have a cadet troop, like the 3rd troop on the list, a cadet troop that it's serving 5th and 6th graders. That's not the norm. But if you have 1 5th grader and 10 6th graders, you're going to label yourself as a cadet troop. That's really what you're searching for. We know that troops aren't always perfect. So we really want to know which troops are you serving, which troops are you willing to, or which girl grade level are you willing to serve?
Tanya's asking how often do we need to check with leaders, and I heard you say you can take it to the meetings monthly, but I think that's too far. in between time, because we really, I think, check as often as possible. You're getting the reports weekly. If you send the changes into us, that next report that you receive, check and see if it's updated. But I would be looking constantly, and in an ideal world, these leaders are going to respond to you and give you all the accurate information. Don't beat yourself up if they're not getting back to you. The staff will try their best.
I would also add to that and say there's certain things that you're going to check once. Is the program grade level correct? Is it a Brownie level? It's probably not going to change until next year, so you probably don't have to check that again. It would be the meeting place. Is their meeting place always accurate? Is their meeting time always accurate? And is their number of openings always accurate? I think those are the big things. So if you're checking with them weekly or you're checking with them often, you may check everything every once in a while and some things at other times. So as you look across this, the girls assigned, girls openings remaining, and the desired number of girls is very, very important. Okay? Our troop leaders will say, I don't want any more girls, or I want 5 more girls, or I need 20 more girls, depending on what they're expecting. This shows you what's in their roster, what's in their troop. The girls assigned in troop 1006 is 12 girls. They have 0 openings, and their desired number is 12. Okay, if you look a few down to troop 10080, they currently have 12 girls. They have 2 openings remaining for a total of 14 girls. Keep looking down to troop 10181. They currently have 9 girls with 5 openings. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. But girls assigned is the number of girls that are actually on their roster right now. Girl openings is the number of girls that could place themselves into that troop. For a desired number, you will notice in some cases where a desired number might be less than what a troop has. So if let's say a troop leader has 20 girls in their or 23 girls in their troop, but their desired number is 20, they're obviously over that amount if there's 23 girls in there. So if 3 girls would leave, it wouldn't open up their catalog again. It would take them back down to that 20 number. The next column is your active DP volunteers. This is going back to what we spoke about earlier regarding your number of volunteers. These are your active DPs. So these are your approved leaders, whether it's primary contact or troop leader. In some of these troops, you'll see 2, 4, 3, 4, however many people are identified as the troop leader, okay, including primary contact. Then you'll see the description, which we spoke about. Then you'll see the meeting location. You'll see the frequency, the day of the week, start time, the end time, their status. Their status is, I think all of these troops are ready to go. Ready to go means they have 2 active DPs. Still in formation would go ahead and let us know that, sorry, this is moving on for a second. Still in formation would let us know that the troop is needing some active DPs still, okay? So this part is the adult catalog, okay? So the screen that you're looking at now is the adult catalog. The adult catalog looks very similar to the girl catalog in the sense that it has most of the same kind of information. However, if you look at it closely, you'll notice this is not girl information. This is volunteer information. This is something that is, the zip codes are on here. The next box is the display in catalog. If it is checked, it is showing in our catalog. If it is not checked, it is not showing in our catalog. This is different than troops, okay? All troops will show in our catalog, whether they have openings or not. Adults don't. Adults only show if we want them to. This is a troop snapshot. When you actually get this report, you will actually, I think we have an example somewhere in here, but maybe not. You will actually see all troops for your service unit. Okay, I just blew up one troop so that you could take a better look at it. This is one troop for your service unit, and this troop is built with adult members. Adult members are not something that we leave open in our catalog, but if somebody does want to be just an adult member is just somebody that pays to be a member, does not have a volunteer role of any sort, we can go ahead and do that. That is something that they do need to contact us to do. We would have them register as unsure and say, I only want to be an adult member, or they could contact customer care and we can help them do that. We really encourage all adults to register in a role of some sort. In this particular case, we have a troop leader that is displayed in the catalog. So if somebody would go in and choose troop 10934, they would see this as an option. You can see that there's 2 volunteers desired and there's 1 opening remaining, which means they have 1 leader and are looking for another. Then there's the description of what the role entails, the troop meeting location, again, the frequency, the day, the time, and whether the troop is still in formation because it needs a leader, a DP, or if it's ready to go. The troop leader primary contact role is listed. Currently, our current troops do not have this as a display in catalog role. This is something that we will be turning on as the troop support connects with the troop leaders throughout the fall check-in. If as a comm, you know who the troop leader primary contact should be, or they tell you and identify themselves as a troop leader primary contact, you will tell us and we will go ahead and switch that. We'll take somebody out of a troop leader role and put them into the troop leader primary contact role. Okay, and we'll adjust the numbers so it shows 2 or whatever they're desiring in their troop. Troop chaperone, troop driver, and troop helper are all displayed in catalog as individual roles. They all have 3 volunteers desired and 3 openings. The troop helper, chaperone, driver is not displayed in catalog. Individual troop product sale cookies, troop product sale fall, not displayed. In this troop product sales fall product and cookie sale is displayed. They're looking for 2 volunteers and currently they have 2 openings remaining. And in this troop, they're also looking for a troop treasurer. They're looking for 1, so that's displayed in catalog. As a leader, it is up to the leader how they want to manage these roles. This is something that you as the comm will be directly involved in, especially now at the beginning of the year. A troop leader must have 2 DPs. That's the only thing that we require. Any other roles that the troop leader would like in their troop is up to them. And you are the main contact for them to tell us what they want, whether they want it displayed, and how many they want in that role. If I'm a leader and I want every parent to register, I have 14 girls in my troop, I'm going to open up 14 troop helper positions. Or I'm going to open up maybe 7 troop chaperone and 3 driver and 4 helper. Or I can just open up 10 in every category so everybody has the options to do it. It's completely up to the leader what they want to do. Some people don't want troop treasurers. Some people, the leader does it and they don't want a troop treasurer. That would be something we would not want displayed in catalog. Again, up to the leader, up to you to tell us. All right, the next report is the 3rd report that you're going to get, and the 3rd report is, nope. Oh, I think this, oh, this was just another example. This is just a different troop. I had 2 troops, two troop examples. This is just another troop. This troop, I believe, is a ready to go troop also, but that had different examples of openings, et cetera, et cetera. So since we're kind of short on time, we'll keep moving. The last report that you're going to get is the membership and troop report. And the membership and troop report is really like a all service unit listing. This is really a report that the VSC is going to use, but we are giving it to the community opportunity managers so that they can see full rosters in case you need it. We may decide later in the year that you don't need it, or you may say that you like it and you do need it. For right now, you are getting a copy of it. The information, this is not exactly what the report is going to look like. We did condense it a little bit so that you can see the different things that were included. So when you get the report, just know it's going to look a little bit different. The top section, if you can put your arrow there, Dee Dee. Our arrow has disappeared. But
Where did it go?
The top section, oh, there it is. The top section shows IRMs. We talked about individually registered members. So any individually registered members in your service unit will show first on this list. The next grouping is lifetime, LT. Any lifetime members that you have in your community will show next on your list. The 3rd grouping is your community service team, your service unit coordinators, your volunteer support coordinators, your comms, your accounting coordinators. Those will show up there. And then the next grouping is just girls that are listed in the service unit. with our old system, we used to have girls that would just be registered in the service unit. Those girls will now turn into IRMs. This is a report for 2016, which we have one more week of. If a girl re-registers into this category, our member placement specialists are going to connect with them to either find them a troop or move them into the IRM category. If a girl does not re-register, as of next week, they will fall out of this section. So we shouldn't have a service unit section after next week or after we get it cleaned up. And then it will start listing each troop. And this is a snapshot of what each troop looks like. And again, it's a roster. It lists the adults in the troop, what their role is, and all of their contact information. And then it lists the girls in the troop. Their role should be girl, and all their contact information. So what else do you need? Right now we have 3 reports. We have the Girl Opportunity Catalog, the Adult Opportunity Catalog, and the Membership and Troop Report.
And the Adult Catalog is a new one. We will start sending out on Monday. Next week. I wanted to give a shout out to Michelle Fontaine. She created a report to send back some changes that she was collecting from the leaders. And rather than sending us an email each time that she heard back from a leader, she compiled it all, and that's what we really want to see. The report that she created was, I believe, an Excel spreadsheet. So thinking about tools that you might need, if that's something, we could always use what Michelle had created, if that's okay, and provide that out to the comms, and they can just fill those in with the changes for each troop.
The other thing with that is, what else do you need? This is a new role, as you all know. This is something that we're developing, and you guys are going to help us develop it as we go. This is what we think we need right now. As the year goes by, we may figure out we need different things, or we may figure out we need less things or more things. So this is going to be something that we really are going to ask for your input on and help us throughout the year. So if you see that something's working, let us know. If you see something that isn't working, let us know also. Okay.
A question from Maureen. I think it's a question. My throat's hurting. Because anybody hear that? The headers show a certain number of records, which is more than the number of members. Can this be updated to accurately reflect the total number of members per group?
The number of records is, I believe, the number of let me look at it. Hold on. I'm 1 second. So the total number of records, the total number of records at the top is 13. That includes the adults and the girls. That is showing 13 records in this troop. I can't change that total to say the 5 and 8, but that is broken down in there. Is that what you mean?
Sure, I think she's seeing it as just as the adults. Each time the darkened area, excuse me, my throat. The darkened area at the top lists the troop, the project campaign, and the troop is 10345. 13 records in 10345.
Yeah, Maureen just clarified what she's asking. An adult is showing that they're holding more than one role.
Oh.
Is that what you're asking, Michelle? The adults show up more than once if they have more than one role. Yes, there's nothing that we can do about that. If an adult has more than one role, they will continually show up in multiple roles. In this particular example here, we don't have that situation, but I know that Maureen's been looking at her reports. One of the things that we've been doing, though, is we're going through, and as the comms are starting to get these reports, we're cleaning it up. If somebody is a troop leader, they don't need to be an adult member also. So we can get rid of that adult member on there. If somebody is a troop driver and a troop chaperone and a troop helper and a troop leader, they only have to be a troop leader because a troop leader trumps everything. So we could get rid of some of the other ones. As we clean this up a little bit. But if they legitimately have more than one role, no, they're going to show up more than one time. Sorry about that. Nothing we can do about that right now.
Okay, Doreen is asking, when somebody selects unsure in the opportunity catalog, will they be required to complete registration and make payment? Or can they use it as an inquiry and pay later?
So good question. No, well, if they choose unsure as an opportunity, yes, they will be required to make payment. GSUSA is a national organization that doesn't just involve troop placement, and so when you join, you decide to join the organization. And so if they're choosing that unsure category, we're hoping that if we cannot find a troop for them, then they will participate in one of the other ways. However, if somebody is inquiring and they go into the system and they can't find something that they want, and they really don't want to proceed with that registration, if they just get out of the website, if they just X out of the website and leave, that's going to capture their information and send their information to a member placement specialist. A member placement specialist then will get notified that somebody was in whatever stage they were in the girl registration page, the get started page, or the opportunity catalog stage, or page, or the payment pending stage page. So if a member placement specialist will find out where they left our website, and the member placement specialists are contacting every person that leaves our website to see if we can assist them to continue to become a member of the organization. So if somebody does do that, a member placement specialist after a few days will contact them and maybe be able to help them find a troop or start an opportunity for them, meaning start a troop as a troop leader. We encourage people to register. That's, we thrive on members. That's what we need to survive. So we want to encourage people to register and participate in any way that they can. However, we understand that some people don't want to unless they can have a troop. So that is a way for them to go ahead and do that. So you go back to, keep going, no, forward, forward. So what if? We kind of talked about the what if situations. What if they wanted to register as unsure? What if they wanted to X out, etc. One of the questions that we have a lot is, what do we do if a leader tells us of a troop transfer or corrections that need to be made to their roster? We've talked for the last hour about that's your job, getting the corrections, getting the data and information accurate for us. So what do you do with it? Well, you tell us, you let us know in customer care. One of the things that this particular question is actually referring to has to do with specifically troop transfers. This is not something that we used to check the rosters. We used to say, is this the roster correct for you? Is this what you need? Is this what you're supposed to have? But now we don't really check rosters as much. We really hope that the leaders will go into their volunteer toolkit and go into their member profile and check their rosters and be engaged in managing their troops, that they'll be looking at their rosters on a regular basis, that they'll know which troops are coming or which girls are in their troop, that they'll be able to keep accurate information for us. However, if you do find out that a troop transfer needs to be made, a correction needs to be made, you would do the same thing that you do with all of the other information and go ahead and send it to us, and we will go ahead and get that taken care of. At this time of year, we have a lot of troops that have bridged, and we've never been told that bridging information. So we have girls that are in a 3rd grade troop that really should be in a 4th grade junior troop. And you all know that they moved, but we don't know that they moved. So that's something that we're working a lot on right now as comms are getting these reports and they're saying, well, these 4 girls should be in that troop and these 4 girls should be in that troop. So our member placement specialists are working really hard to go ahead and get that information updated and taken care of. Where do I send my changes and updates and troop information? What do I do with it? That's a good question, right? What do I do with it? Very simple. Customer care. Our customer care email address is our catch-all and be-all for everything that we're doing from now on. We still do have individual emails, but whenever you contact us, we really ask that you go through our customer care team. Our customer care team is not our help desk, our old help desk. It is completely different. And our customer care team can help you with a lot of things that they weren't able to help you with before. In most situations, they pretty much have the answer. And if they don't have the answer, they know exactly who they need to send you to get that answer. So a lot of the changes that we've been talking about can get emailed to customer care, and they'll go ahead and change them for us, which will be done almost immediately. If it's something a little bit more complicated that they need to pass on, they'll know exactly who they need to pass that on to. When customer care gets any sort of inquiry from you, for those of you that have called customer care and used it already, you'll know what I'm talking about. But whether it's a phone call or an email, what we call a case is created. And it's just a way of tracking your inquiry. It's a way of us being accountable to you in a timely manner. We have a goal of answering your inquiries within a day, within like an 8-hour period. Now, we're not 100% there yet, and there's some inquiries that take a lot longer than a day, but we have that goal, and right now we're doing that at about 75% of the time. So 75% of the inquiries that are coming in are getting answered actually within a 2-hour period. So obviously that's not going to happen all of the time, but customer care is really the way to go to get inquiries answered. If you email a staff member directly, you will get an answer. You will get an answer, but we're all working out of this new system, and the new system doesn't have our personal emails in it. So we're really looking at our system before we're looking at our emails. So that inquiry is going to take a lot longer for you to get an answer to. So you really want to focus on sending things through customer care. If you take a look at this chart, this is just in a quick snapshot for you. These are all of our community numbers. This is a list of our member placement specialists. For those of you that have already been working on this, you've probably already been in contact with your member placement specialist. Our member placement specialists are the people that you're going to be intimately involved with in all of your community opportunity manager changes, updates, transfers. They're the people that are going to be calling the new members. They're the people that are going to be contacting those people that have the insures, the IRMs. They're going to be contacting anybody that leaves our website, helping them to be able to move into the next part of their registration so that they can become a member. They're the people that are going to be working with the recruitment team and contacting people that didn't sign up for an event, sign up for a role, or sign up for membership at our Discover Girl Scout events. They're really the opportunity managers in a way. And their title is Member Placement Specialist. So if you look at this chart and find your community number, you can see who your your Member Placement Specialist is. Jen Fox has been working with us for about a year. Deb Hamilton has been working with us a little over a year. Oh, no, a little less than a year. Beverly Hill has been working with us for 2 or 3 years. A year. Sorry about that. A year. It feels like forever. Janine McFrades is a new employee. She's been with us for about 3 months. Michelle Moulton also has been with us for about 4 months at this time. And Jessie Schweiss has been with us for about a year, year and a half. No, she's over here. Dee Dee's correcting me on how long people have been here. I feel like they've been here a lot longer. They're so smart that
Christmas time.
Oh, that's true. No, she was a part-time employee before that. Never mind. Anyway, so these are the people that you'll be working with in the member placement specialist role. But again, go through customer care first because they're not checking their emails. They're checking our system before they're checking their emails. So we've been answering questions as we went. I appreciate all of you staying on the line. I know we started a little bit late, and I know that we've gone a little bit over, but we do appreciate you staying on the line. We've been answering the questions as we go along. We haven't had a lot of questions, which I don't know if that means I'm doing a fabulous job or if you just are so overwhelmed with information that you don't know what to ask yet. But we'll wait a couple minutes to see if anybody here has any further questions.
I'm doing a fabulous job.
We are recording this webinar, all the good, the bads, and the uglies, but we are recording this webinar, and we will go ahead and send this back out to you if you ever want to revisit it or re-listen to it. Anybody new that joins as a community opportunity manager that isn't on this webinar this evening, we will go ahead and send this to them as part of their initial training.
Do you think it would be safe to assume, I have a question, do you think it would be safe to assume that after cookies kick off that the comms will have less to do?
That's a loaded question. Yes, after cookies kick off, the comms will have less to do for a few months. The January, February, March time period will be the slower period for most community opportunity managers. A lot of changes don't happen during that time period. However, if you think about where we are right now, and you think about where we want to be at this time next year, okay? We don't want to be where we are right now next year. A lot of this information that you're going to be very busy collecting over the next couple weeks is stuff that we could have had inputted and corrected all summer. This is stuff that if we would have known about it back in March, April, May, June, we could have made changes so that people that registered in the May, June, July time period would be able to choose troops for now based on what would be happening now. We didn't know this at the time. This is one of the things with our new system that was a little bit different than we actually thought it was going to be. So when I look at next year at this time, I look at us kind of already having done most of this. By October 1st, most of this will be done. In reality, probably even be done months ago, so that we don't have a slam bam busy period at the beginning of October. So I do look that the comms will be then more active at the beginning of early registration in the April-May time period to help renewal, and then again in the May-June time period in order to prepare troops for next year, for this time next year.
Beautiful. We have one last question, I think, and it was a while ago from Maureen, and she wanted to know about those letters that were going out to VSCs. That was, is there a way for, and we've been asked this a lot, is there a way for Chris to say what position they've applied for, what troop they're going to volunteer in?
So that's one of those other loaded questions. Right now, no. Right now, when a volunteer support coordinator does get an approval letter, we do not have the position that the person is approved for on that letter. There's a couple of reasons for that, and I don't want to sound like I'm making an excuse, so please don't think that that's what it is. But we have one person working intake for thousands of volunteers, and even though it seems like it wouldn't be something that would take more time, it is something that adds a lot of time to each letter to be able to get it out to everybody. We are looking to have more people become part of the intake team. If we do have more people become part of the intake team, that is something that we definitely have on our radar to look for. But what we encourage the volunteer support coordinators to do is to be in connection with those people. Maybe when you get blind copied on that, when you are first told about them, or when you get their approval letter, it's your chance to reach out to them and introduce yourself and ask how you can support them as your volunteer support coordinator. So,
and ask those questions.
And ask those questions.
Yes.
What are you doing? What role are you? What troop are you helping with? What role are you doing? You know, if it's a troop driver, chaperone, helper, treasurer, product sale person, you can just say, hey, great, you know, I'm Sandy Kane, I'm the volunteer support coordinator. If you ever need anything, I'm here for you, but your main contact's really going to be your troop leader. If it's a troop leader, then obviously you want to tell them, hey, I'm your person. If you need anything, let me know.
Will inactive, this is from Michelle, will inactive adults and girls disappear on October 1st off these reports?
It's a magic question, Michelle. We don't know. That's one of those things that I'm pressing the I believe button at the moment and hoping that they do. I've heard conflicting things from GSUSA, and I honestly just don't know what the answer to that will be. Whether inactive people come off or suspended people come off, I just don't really know. So we're going to have to wait a week and see what happens.
Okay, I'm not sure about Lauren's question. She's saying how to address using rep name.
I don't know. Lauren, can you clarify your question?
Yeah. Maureen's asking, is there a report that shows volunteer status for insurance drivers on file so we can prompt volunteers to update, resend their coverage?
Currently, there's not. Currently, we are actually looking at the requirements for driver coverage. That is something that we ask new volunteers to give us, and we're working with our insurance company right now to find out what exactly our need is in the future. Do they have to continue to give it to us each year? Is it something we have to collect, or can it be an assumed liability? So we're actually looking into that right now. So I don't have a report for that right now. If it stays that we will continue to be collecting it, that is definitely something that we can look into building.
How can we as a comm or a troop leader see the entire troop description? If you want to let me know when I send you a report, I can't do it all the time and it isn't pretty. I can send you a report that will show you the full descriptions. It's very large because the It's an Excel, but you can always manipulate your cells so that you can, kind of condense it.
When you get this report, it's going to be in Excel, and if you highlight that column and do,
it does cut it off.
Oh, yeah, it does cut it off. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we would have to do it in a different format. I would have to reformat it in another way for them to see it all.
You see most of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if it's something that you find that you're finding a lot of the troops and a lot of the information is getting cut off, then let Dee Dee know and she can manipulate your report to do that.
Okay. Do we need to identify ourselves as COM every time we send an email to customer care, or do they know who we are? At first, you probably will.
Yeah. For the first couple of weeks, I would just say COM. COM changes, something like that. They all have a list of who you all are, and just like at the old help desk, they'll start to know. But for now, I would, if you don't mind, just identify, say COM changes, something like that.
Address to customer care from my community. When I have a concern or correction, do I add my number in the header or the name of my rep? Off the chart.
No, you don't have to. If you want to, you can. Thank you, Lauren, for clarifying that. Sure, if you want to, if you guys wanted to put in the subject line, COM community 230, or COM 233 changes, or COM 233 updates, or whatever your service unit is. If you wanted to do that, that'd be great. Any information you can give would make it faster. You don't have to address it to your rep, to your person. They will go ahead. Customer care will know where that needs to go. In some situations, customer care is going to be able to take care of that information without ever sending it to your person. So you don't have to identify them.
I think if we use the tool that Michelle had created, and I think she's going to send me a blank one. I saw a little wink, wink. We can have on there the service unit number, so there's no mistaking where it's supposed to go if you forget to put your rep. How much is it on, this is Maureen again, how much is it on the COM versus council staff placement specialist to help parents find an active troop?
It is a group effort, and it's just as it always has been. It's something that we're going to work together doing. The member placement specialist is going to be in contact with them. You're getting the report, so you're going to see things, but you're not necessarily going to see who's inquiring or who's looking. The member placement specialists are really going to be having that information and doing that. However, locally, you may have people that you know of that are looking for troops, or you may have people that are inquiring to you. Work with your member placement specialists and say, hey, I have this mom that called me and she's looking for a Brownie troop. Can you contact her? Or I have this mom and she's willing to be a Brownie leader. What do I tell her to do? Most situations, you're going to direct them to the website and have them join and choose an opportunity. And if they don't see the opportunity, they're going to go through unsure and contact your member placement. So the responsibility kind of really falls on member placement. But again, we need you guys to help. And that's really a team effort overall. In some communities, it's going to be more member placement and less service unit. And in some communities, it's going to be more service unit and less member placement. It really depends on your group and your area. There are some service units that they're ahead of it before we're on it, and there's others that need some help. So it really kind of depends on how much effort you want to put into it and how much time you have and how much your service team and your leaders want to do.
Doreen is asking, is the COM responsible for recruitment, or is there a separate position on the community level? I'm doing both, but saw a reference to another title in a recent email. It is separate. If you're doing both, it should be, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
both those titles.
The COM is going to be responsible for helping our recruitment team to identify need. So you're going to be looking at a report, and you're going to see from time to time, hey, this troop needs a leader, or this troop needs girls. We actually have that happening where we have leaders and we don't have girls. So you're going to have that information, and it's something that you're going to have your eye on for your community. And so you may want to give us a nudge and say, hey, are you guys aware of this? It is something that we look at and our recruitment team is looking at. However, you may want to help with that as the COM. We do have recruiter positions on the service team in communities. So if you have two separate people, I think Doreen, you said you were doing both, but if you do have two separate people There is a recruiter position, and there also is the comm position. So a comm isn't necessarily responsible for recruitment. If there's a recruiter person really wanting to do that role, it would be less of a responsibility on the comm. If there's not somebody doing that role, we would rely on you a little bit more. Again, team effort there too.
We've run out of questions, but thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy. This was a long one.
Sorry about that.
We went a little over. So thank everybody that stayed on to hear the very last bit of Sandy's wonderful news.
This is a learning process. We have a good handle on it. The system is not perfect, although we're learning more and more that the system is, and we're not perfect. So it's something that as we go, it isn't necessarily that there's something wrong. It's sometimes we haven't learned it yet. We've learned a lot over the last 6 months. I mean, I can't even tell you how far we've come. You wouldn't even be able to appreciate it. However, with the last week or so, we've had the volunteer support coordinators that have been asking questions. We've had comms that have been asking questions, and I think we've probably tripled what we've learned in the last week just from working with the volunteers. So I expect that we'll keep learning. Shout out to a few people that helped us build the reports, which included Michelle Fontaine and who else helped with your reports? Karen Warner.
Deb Walzer.
Deb.
Sue Rochford. And did Maureen? I'm bad.
That's all right. And Maureen Johnson has been helping. She's been asking lots of questions with our member placement specialist, and she's been opening our eyes to some things that have been really helpful to us. And Nancy Gross this past weekend, she has spent more time emailing with Dee Dee and I, and it really taught us a few things that you guys were going through. And it was fabulous for us to be able to kind of walk through different questions and learn some different things. So I'm probably forgetting people, but you guys have been awesome, and I'm really excited about this year. I'm excited about everything that we can do, and I'm excited that the new system's going to be working so great for us.
Yes.
So thank you all. Customer care, that's where you want to send everything, and if you have individual questions, you know that you can contact Dee Dee and I. We'll help you too.
Yes. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.